The Buffalo Sabres have got their first 3-game win streak and have a chance for 4. More on that coming up. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sabres Edge podcast. It is currently Tuesday, February 27th, and in the middle of recording this, there is a Florida Panthers versus Buffalo Sabres game going on. So if you see us head checking or like turning our heads, we're probably checking our other monitors because, you know, we're monitoring that one closely. Some people might be asking, Sam, why do you look ridiculous again? Well, if you watched last week, you know that I wore the bag. And, you know, some people on the podcast are a little more superstitious than I. Some people in our Discord are connecting some dots, and they said, hey, you know what? A certain podcaster that we really like wore a certain outfit last week, and since he wore that outfit, the Sabres haven't lost yet. So I guess I'm condemned to this fate until the Sabres lose a game, and it's not looking great for them right now as it's 2-1 against Florida in the halfway through the second. But for now, until that happens, I guess I'm the bad guy. So, how are you doing, Timmy?
Sam, I'm the superstitious one now of this podcast right now. And you know what? That bag got us a 3-game winning streak, and that's all we've been asking for this whole entire season. And just to tell you how superstitious I am, I used to dress the same way for every baseball game, every hockey game when it came to winning. I put the clothes on a certain way too, certain order. Remember that. So when it came to the next game, I'm like, all right, this is how we get a win. This is how we get a W. So I'm a crazy superstitious person. And when I saw that bag last week and it brought us 3 wins, I knew that bag had to stay on tonight. Now, it's not looking good right now. It's 2-1 in the second period.
There's still time, though.
There's still time to win, though. That's correct, Sam. So the bag lives on right now. And it's going to keep on going until they lose. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and you know what? If they keep winning and if they keep racking up win, like if they go on a real streak, I'm okay with that. If it means I have to talk a few times while wearing a bag on my head, it's a small price to pay.
That's fine. I mean, it's just the small sacrifices that we have to make as fans, right? That's all that matters. Exactly. I mean, this is our contribution to the team this year.
Well, anyway, some very exciting news is that for the first time on this podcast, when we're doing our recap, we only have wins to talk about.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know what to talk about, to be honest with you. Just the fact that we just keep on winning now.
Are you just too baffled by the fact that we've won? But like, yeah, we got into such a rhythm with us losing. Now that we won, how are we supposed to conduct ourselves? What are we supposed to say? Are there good things that could possibly be said? But anyway, starting from the beginning of this week, we had a game against the Canadians.
Hold on. Sorry. What were you gonna say? The Coyotes?
No, I was looking at the Ducks game. So I was like, that's not right. But yeah, so we won 3-2 against the Canadians. Honestly, I don't really have much to say about that. The Canadians are a team we should beat, and we beat them. So I don't know. Did you have anything that you felt about the Canadians game?
No. Like I said last week, I was expecting for the Sabres to win this game. I know they got overcome in the standings by the Canadians at that point, but I know the Sabres overall are a better team than the Canadians, and they should have beat them. And I'm glad that they're winning, especially at the rate that UPL is going at right now.
Yeah.
Really no takeaways at all from the game. Now, I guess the one thing, and I put it in the Discord chat that we have, was just like, what is his name? I can't even say his name right. Is that
Zibanejad?
Yeah,
He's
Sabres.
not on that. Zibanejad is on the Rangers, I think.
No.
I'm trying to think who.
The enforcer on the Canadians right now.
Oh, Arbor Xhekaj.
Xhekaj, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Just him just blowing around Middlestat in that clip. I know Middlestat had a hit or before that, but still, like, I mean, it just shows like it reflects a little bit of like the softness of the team. But that was pretty much it. That's all I gotta say about that.
In fairness to the team, Middlestat didn't have any interest in engaging either. Like, he seemed to just be like, all right, refs, call a penalty. Come on, guys. And it didn't happen. But, like, yeah, I do think that you can show a little bit of kickback, but I don't think it's the team's responsibility to show any kickback. If one, the player isn't injured, and two, the same player doesn't seem to really care. Middlestat was kind of just taking it on the head, and it was whatever. But
the funniest thing is all I can see is your mouth right now. Like, I can see that you have eye holes. Your eyes. I just see a
last week I found and I was intermittently and like you can see the whites in my eyes barely if I really open them up, and then the smile comes through nicely. But yeah, I was amusing myself last week doing that, and I'm sure I'll find myself doing that at least a few times today. So if you see that and you're creeped out, sorry. This is my reality right now. So
you did it to yourself, Sam. You did it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what the irony is you said if we didn't get a win streak, you were going to wear the bag, and you wore. So we lost, and then you put the bag on, and now we're winning. So
yeah, right. It's because we didn't get the the win streak. I ended up in the bag. And now because of a win streak, I'm still in the bag. So there is no winning for me.
At this point, no.
Is winning for the Sabres as they moved on to face the Columbus Blue Jackets, who had taken them out earlier in the season, and they edge out a close 2-1 win. Again, another team, you look at them and you're like, the Sabres should beat this team. I don't really have much to say about the fact that you beat them, right? Like, congrats. You did it. They suck.
No,
and
they're beating teams that they should be beating, which is actually a good sign for this team at this point of the year. So
yeah, especially because going forward, we have the hardest schedule remaining in the league. So you're gonna take the points where you can get them, and now you have to really bunker down because it's about to get harder to get those points.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Team keeps rolling. Team keeps winning. I don't even think who's fighting?
Someone hit Cousins, noted a rat, and apparently it sparked a little bit of an outburst on the other team, and there were people being tackled. So that was pretty exciting.
Oh, so Chuck went after him and didn't bother to be in the fight either. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm not surprised, but you want that type of player on your team, to be totally honest. I mean, if Chuck was on my team, I'd be happy to have him.
I would love to have Chuck. I think that Nick Cousins is the biggest rat in the NHL right now. He's throwing a ton of dirty hits around, and then anytime anyone tries to address him, he'll turtle immediately.
Yeah.
So, or in this instance, he attacked someone from behind. That was his retribution. So, yeah. I'm glad that he got hurt on that hit. He got punched by Greenway. Never mind. That's a little dirty.
Okay, well, I just called them soft, and now they're showing that they're going to fight with these guys. No, I mean, to take away from just the past 3-game winning streak, I don't think I have the only individual thing I have to say about is for individual game thing is for the Hurricanes game. But besides that, I mean, it's just a general theme so far. Just glad they're winning right now, but nothing standing out,
Let's be real. The Montreal and the Columbus games, they were boring games. But that does bring us into the Hurricanes game. And I've got things to say about that one because that was an awesome game.
Yep.
The fans that were there, they brought the energy. The players on the ice, they played with compete from the start of the game, and it only intensified throughout. By the third period, it really felt like they were playing for something, like the game mattered. And that's all we've been asking for this whole year. Again, we've sounded like a broken record at the end of every podcast. Play like it means something to you. And against the Hurricanes, that game, towards the end, it really mattered to them, and it showed. And as a result, the fans showed that they can support you too. Like, that game was the first game this year that was actually fun. And It doesn't matter the standings. Like, I know we're out of it. I know we're so far behind that it doesn't matter anymore. It's still fun to watch the team when you play like that. So,
not according to WGR. They like to think that we still have a playoff chance here. We'll talk about that later. But it also felt like, too, like the Sabres were also playing against the refs toward the end of that game because we had some very questionable penalties getting called on, specifically on Dahlin. And they were it felt like, are they really, of all games, this game going to get this taken away from them by the refs? But they ended up winning, which is great. And overall, like you said, it's just been a great, that was like a great high effort game that we haven't had many of this season so far. So it actually felt like a good win. Whereas the first 2 wins of the winning streak, like, okay, like, yeah, you should have won, not fun and exciting. But that last game, I mean, they played with compete and they played with energy, and, they stole one from the refs, I'll say. They stole one from the refs that game.
Yeah.
That's all
The other thing to notice that the refs also had some bad calls the other way. Like, I think that game, the refs were just bad. I'm not particularly like, oh, we outplayed the refs because they had a goal called back. But then again, they shouldn't have scored on that one power play because they shouldn't have had that power play. Yeah. But that wasn't a hand pass. So,
nope.
It balances out a little bit. There were some like minor things where it's like, if you're calling ticky-tacky things like that on Dahlin, we should also get a power play that we didn't end up getting. But at the end of the night, they were bad refs. I don't think they were terrible in favor of one team in particular, but they were bad refs. They did not ref that well. But, we get the win. It was close. That shootout was great. The overtime was great. UPL was great. And another thing is, like, in those games, we were going 3-2, 2-1, 3-2. UPL had to hold us in all of those. Those were very close games. Even against the teams that we should be beating, like, we needed UPL to still play well. And he was. So,
was that the second shootout of the season that we had?
That was only the second shootout, the first being against Montreal, and it was Devin Levi in that.
So I remember that first shootout, and I remember Casey Middlestat not coming out for that shootout. And I was so blown away by that because I remember last season, Casey Middlestat was just money on shootouts, and even seasons before that. And look who gets you the win on that shootout for that game. So a little bit questionable of coaching thinking of Wise Middlestat. Well, even though it hasn't happened that much, like, he should be in the top 3 of your shootout. The other questionable thing, and it's been sticking out like a sore thumb, and it's been something that we've been talking about since the beginning of the season, is we're letting Peyton Krebs finally cook right now. And seeing him on that line with Benson and Peterka, seeing him play with actual players, we could have had this all season.
Yeah.
Like, why has this kid been playing between 2, I don't know, grocery sticks? Let's just call them at this point.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a great question. We move Peyton Krebs to the second line. I'm not sure what you would call it.
Third line, yeah. I guess it's called the third line just because Cousins not on it, but I call it the second line.
Right. I think that realistically, Peyton Krebs' upside is like an elite third line player. I don't think he's really I don't think he'll ever be a first line center. He just isn't that.
Oh yeah.
But it's not on a fourth line role either. He can he can hold it down defensively, but that shouldn't be his role because he also has the ability to play offense. And so you shackle him with Girgensons and Okposo for a while. And that line isn't even doing well. Like, defensively, that line was struggling. You move him off that line, and all of a sudden, it feels eye test wise like he's better defensively now that he's moved away from those two. And also, he can help another line get a spark that it needs, and he's been good at it. Like, He gets the assist on the power goal that ties it against Carolina, which is one of the biggest goals in one of the most fun games we've had this year. So I don't know. I don't know why he's been stuck in the bottom of the lineup for so long, but all of a sudden he's moved up and he's playing well. So maybe Don Granato doesn't have the ability to just see these obvious things in front of him, but
yeah,
it's frustrating to see the things that us fans have been saying finally be implemented and be like, we're not crazy. Here it is, and we're not crazy. So,
well, you got to think the remaining fans have hockey sense. So the remaining fans are actually watching Sabres hockey right now, have a good idea how hockey works, and they see talent in players. And you've seen it from Krebs when he first joined the Sabres, and they sent him down to the AHL to play in the playoffs and play between Peterka and Quinn. The guy's not going to be a goal scorer, but the guy's going to get a ton of assists. And that's the type of player he's going to be. I could see him being like a 50, 60 point player at max, but just a solid center that can distribute the puck and help other players, maximize their games. And just seeing it proven right now is just kind of like alleviating, but also like a lot of question marks I still have with this coaching staff, because there's just a lot of things where you're just like, this guy should have been moving up and playing more and not playing between Okposo, who is clearly 4 steps behind NHL competition right now, and Gergensons, who's just, like you said, he's your prototypical fourth liner at this point of his career. And I don't know, you're squandering talents of a player that you still have him under RFA. But I think he has to sign some sort of contract, right, at the end of the season, because he's an RFA, I think, this year.
Sure, actually, I don't know what his status is, but if he were an RFA, I think you could get away with. Like, I think you could sign him for $2 million for like 3 years or whatever as a bridge, or $2 million for 2 years. And I don't know why he wouldn't accept it, because I don't think arbitration would necessarily favor him after the kind of career he's had so far.
Yeah.
I think you could lock him up for a couple years for cheap, and I think that's what we should do. I'm not entirely sold on those long contracts right now, with some of the longer ones we've given up being some of the more regrettable at the moment, with the exception of Dahlin. So, yeah, I'm back on board with, you know what, maybe we don't need to lock up the guy for 7 years. We could just give him a couple and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that, because you're kind of now in this situation with Casey Middlestat where you've signed him to a bridge deal kind of thing, and he's proven to gotten better, and now it's time for a long contract. Well, he's at RFA still at the end of this season, but the long contract talk is going to be coming up pretty soon for him. So, and the trade deadline's coming up as well, so I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit. So, no, I mean, I think we're regretting some contracts right now. And we look at Dylan Cousins right now, who's, I think he had what game did he have a goal last game? What goal did he have a game in?
He had a goal this game.
Oh, yeah, he did have a goal this game. So, I mean, it's just, you're not getting what you expect out of a guy like him right now, especially getting paid. I mean, yeah, $7 million in the long run isn't like a lot of money for an NHL player, but he's making around what Tage is making right now. And both those guys are just having really down seasons at this moment, and kind of questioning what's the long-term virtue for these guys. Like, what is their projectability? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be last season? Or is it going to be somewhere in between? Because we got some question marks right now when it comes to the core.
It will certainly be interesting 3 years down the line to be evaluating people like Samuelson and Power and Cousins and Tage, who took those huge contracts before, really proving that last year wasn't the fluke, right? Yeah. Obviously, I don't think that I think on aggregate, it will be kind of a good 5 signings between the 5 that we signed long-term are Dahlin, Tage, Cousins, Samuelson, and Power. And I think over the long run, those are probably going to even out to like pretty good. The contract situation with those is probably going to be pretty good. However, you still run the risk when you sign this early of them either having like the contagious situation, like having maybe an overproductive season at age 25 that he'll never hit again, or in like, power season, him never actually living up to the number 1 overall status that he has. So that's all yet to be seen, but I don't know that this is a conversation for right now, and it feels more like 3 years down the line, more productive then,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, sorry to delve into it. I was also just thinking in my head, like, isn't it crazy that we just signed Power to a long ass deal after just 1 season?
Yep.
All right, well, we'll keep on moving on.
Anyway, would you want to wait till the Panthers game is over to go over it, or do you want to kind of go over what we have thus far and then keep people posted along the way? It's currently the second period.
Yeah. We got 9 minutes left in the second period.
The second period just ended.
Oh, really? So I'm behind.
Yeah, you're a bit behind.
Yeah, I have low power on my phone right now, so we're balancing.
It's okay. You know what? It's one of the it's a ESPN game, and to be frank, I don't like listening to Bucci Gross.
No, me either. I'm not a fan of it. Kind of talks too much.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's like he talks too much to sound like he's very knowledgeable in hockey. He's like overcompensating.
Yeah,
I'm the hockey guy at ESPN. I know everything about hockey. It's like, well, ESPN didn't do hockey for years, so that's a discussion for another time, Sam.
We'll make sure to get it. We'll make sure to get our Bucci Gross rant.
Do I have a bone to pick with some of these announcers? Did I have to suffer with Doc Emmerich for years? Yeah. I mean, come on.
I think that the important thing about these like national broadcasts or the ESPN ones, or the times that we have to listen to Jack Edwards, it's important to take like, obviously RJ is the absolute GOAT.
Gold standard.
He's missed here, obviously.
Yeah.
But we don't have it that bad as it could be. I do appreciate Dan. I do appreciate Razor. Like it's a pretty good broadcast crew that we have.
It's crazy that you have one guy in between the benches and one guy upstairs. Well, I guess not for away games, but at home games, it's like, all right, yeah, you have your color commentator sitting in between the benches, and then you have your play-by-play up in the stands.
Yeah.
And they still have some sort of connection up there. But yeah, they're both doing good. Obviously, no one can replace RJ. RJ's the gold standard. I haven't talked to this guy, Boston fan up here, and he said he loved RJ and he hates Jack Edwards. And I was like,
yep.
Even though you're a Bruins fan, I want to give you a hug right now. So yeah, we're spoiled. We've been spoiled. So, but Dan Dylan Lee is doing a great job, and yeah, that's it. You have RJ. You don't like Doc Emmerich. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
The amount of times I had to hear finesse move from Doc Emmerich, and then he's talking too much. He's talking about the player's background. He's talking about what elementary school they went to.
Right.
This guy from Eden Prairie High School. It's like, no, I don't care about this. Just call the hockey game, dude. I'm sorry. I'm going on a tangent right now.
No, I feel like it's important to note the Bucci Gross equivalent of that is he loves his college players. So Bucci Gross will be like, oh yeah, this player went to whatever university. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. He's been in the NHL for 13 years. Like, yeah. I think that it's more important. Like, what's the last team he was been on? Than like that feels like more pertinent information. You could say like, oh yeah, he was traded over like last summer from whatever, but no, 13 years ago, did you know that he played in Northeastern? Like, okay, cool. That's great.
He probably forgot about that. The player doesn't realize he played for Northeastern.
Yeah, the player's like, oh right. Yeah, I did do that. It was like 1 year before I went to the NHL or whatever. But yeah. Anyway.
Just when you go to the chat real quick.
Yeah. So, yep, still bagged up. UPL is hauling it tonight, and that's only accentuated by the fact that Mike says Sabres outshot 18-7 in the second and 29-16 in the game so far. Yeah, it was not a very productive second period for the Sabres. So, I don't know. UPL's holding on for us.
It's kind of expected. I mean, for this game,
Yeah.
the Panthers are one in the conference right now, I believe.
Boston's ahead of
They're
them.
okay. So all right,
I believe at least. Hold on. Yep, Boston's ahead. But Panthers have 2 games in hand, so after they lose to us tonight, they can still win their next game.
Yeah,
and catch up.
But still, top tier team in the league. I don't expect, and they're pretty good defensively. So, didn't expect many shots to come from the Sabres, and we got the best goalie in the league right now. So UPL staying hot, and he's only to get better. Can he make a late run for the Vezina, even though the team sucks?
I feel like if the Sabres make the playoffs, you have to give the Vezina to UPL.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
he's the backbone of this team right now.
If the Sabres make the playoffs, I feel like the Vezina is as good as his. There is no other team that relies as heavily on their goalie right now. The second best goalie since the new year is Pyotr Kochetkov. And if you look at the team in front of him, Carolina, they're known as a defensive team.
Yeah.
UPL in front of, or UPL behind the Sabres defense has the best goals against average of any goalie since the new year. Our defense is notoriously bad. It's so much more impressive for him to be doing this than Pyotr to be doing what he's done during the start of the year. And people are, tooting his horn because it is still impressive.
Yeah.
So UPL currently is...
Who's the betting favorite right now? Is it Hellebuck?
I think it might be.
As long as it's not either the Bruins goaltenders, because no, you don't get a Vezina on that team. I'm sorry. You want to talk about a defensive team, and you only have to play like 50% of the games too. Like, give me a break.
Right. Yeah, you get more rest.
Yeah. So if I even see that, I might throw up. We might have to do a Mercy podcast where I just yell at the NHL for a solid hour and a half and then just let me vent. So
I think that'd be productive for everyone.
Yeah. Just have a vent session for Sabres fans against Boston fans.
Yeah. By the way, Connor Hellebuck is currently the betting favorite for the Vezina Trophy this year.
Okay. I mean, deservedly so, even though the team might be getting moved.
Yeah.
Did you see that story?
I saw Gary making comments about it. Gary Bettman. He was making a comment about the fact that he still believes in Winnipeg, even though the attendance is declining.
Yeah. So supposedly, the Winnipeg arena. So this kind of actually plays into the Sabres a little bit too, because people are afraid the Sabres might be moving.
Right.
So Winnipeg has only a 16,000 seat arena, and they haven't had a sellout, I don't think, this season at all. And their percentage is pretty, I think it's around like 80% capacity is their average right now. And people are like, oh, the Sabres are around like 70%. But Buffalo also has a 19,000 seat arena, and their average is better than actually Winnipeg. Either way, it's just weird to see that, just because Winnipeg is such a new team and they're playing so well right now, but their fans aren't showing up. I guess it's more of like an inflation reason right now. Fans can't afford the tickets. So it would actually, I've kind of liked Winnipeg being there. So it sucked to see them leave, especially in a small market. But reading a lot of articles, it sounds like that with Buffalo, fans really don't have to worry, because even the season tickets numbers, even though the team's still so bad, they still get pretty good season tickets as well. Or they get still sales from season tickets. So that's good. Even though it looks empty in the arena, some of those seats are being sold right now. So.
Yeah. That's just that's unfortunate, right? Like, obviously, it's expensive, but their team is doing so well. It would be a shame now for them to not show up, and as a result, have their team moved away. But speaking of arenas, though, there has been news recently, and the Buffalo or Terry Pagula sent out a letter, I think, to his season ticket holders, basically saying that they're doing arena improvements for the upcoming season. That's going to include a new jumbotron or video board, as they said, but I'm pretty sure that just means jumbotron, and also a new roof. So that's something. I don't know if that's exactly what every fan was like. This is definitely what we need to address right now, but it is something. It shows that he's committed to at least putting some more into the Sabres. It doesn't look like we're probably going to be sold anytime soon, given the fact that he's looking to put more in, unless he's trying to make it look nice for the next buyer. But
yeah, well, I don't think they don't own the arena still, though. I think it's still leased out by the county. So I guess whatever they do wouldn't really make a difference. So this is showing that they have commitment to Buffalo and hockey. Yeah, I think it's more of like what I've read earlier, either this year or the end of last year, was that, like, this is a stepwise in improvements to the arena. So I guess the first phase is the jumbotron, and then the roof. I wonder if they're going to keep the roof the iconic blue color. When you go over the Skyway, you see the blue roof. Do you think they're going to change it up and do it a different color?
I thought it was white. Is it blue?
Oh no, am I colorblind? I thought it was blue.
I don't think that you can.
Tom, what color is the roof of the arena? I thought it was blue.
I might be wrong.
There's like a nice little like robin egg blue,
Maybe.
But what are some improvements that you would want out of the arena?
I don't know. I feel like you could update the seats. That would be a nice little improvement because they're pretty gross right now, especially if you go to the higher levels. Like the nosebleeds, obviously they're the nosebleeds for a reason, but I mean they could use some just love and care up there. I don't know. I don't know what you would do as just like a stepwise improvement for the arena. I would love to see the sound system improve because there are certain areas in the arena where it's just loud and bad quality. If you're in kind of like the 100 section, the sound's actually all right. It's okay, and you get like the tones right. But if you're kind of above that spot, then it's pretty bad. It just sounds like noise. A lot of the things. They have like the gentlemen start your engines thing at the beginning. And again, if you're anywhere above like the 100 level, it's just noise and it's quite loud. So
yeah. That's what I remember saying in the 300 levels is it's just very loud, but also it's not a clear, not a crisp loud.
Like it's
because the speakers are pointing out away from you, so you're getting like the refractory back from the speakers.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the seats. And I mean, do they kind of do what like the Buffalo Bisons did with like some of their seats? And it's 2024. We got some thick boys like myself up there. We need a little extra room in the seats, so can we get some wider seats up there? Is all I'm going to be asking for. I would also like, and this, I hope they're doing this for the new Bills Stadium too, is they need some more leg room. Because when you're like sitting there and then someone gets up in the middle of play, you're just like, oh, why are you getting up? And then I got to stand up, and then they're stepping all over my shoes and they're spilling shit all over me. It's like, can we give these people a little bit of extra room so I don't have to deal with them, especially when they're sloppy drunk and they're just slopping all over you. And you're just like, what the hell, dude or chick? It's like, you're at a game. You're paid money for this game, and you're just blacked out drunk watching, and you're slopping all over everybody. I don't know where this tangent's going, but I need more room. I need more room.
I agree with you. We could get wider seats, more room. Tom says, by the way, that
back of the head.
Tom says that the color is steel ? So I guess that's kind of like probably like a bluish gray. We can look this up afterwards, but
put a pull up, Mike. Put a pull up.
Tom would also like updated cup holders, and he's excited about the new big screen. So
supposedly they're having boards underneath the jumbotron or whatever too. So like there's screens on the outside so the 300 and 200s can see. But then like the 100s where they're down low by the boards, there's like going to be screens underneath it so they can see up.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. So that's a lot of people on when I was looking at Reddit, they've been complaining for years about the video board or Jumbotron. So I mean, they're getting their wish now. So
Yep.
Do you remember when the Jumbotron crashed?
No, I don't really.
Okay.
What year was it? Because I might have just been too young. I know that it did happen, but
I can't remember if it's early 2000s or maybe even late 90s. So
then that's a little before me.
Yeah.
2002.
That's crazy to think about that.
Yeah.
I just remember my dad telling me in the newspaper they had a photo of the Jumbotron like laying on the ice, and that's like Jumbotron crashed. I was like, was anyone there? Did anyone fall on top of anything? He's like, I don't know.
You just have to know it happened, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a news story for a little bit in Buffalo, so I don't know what they did. They must have had to get a Jumbotron pretty fast after that, because I think it was if the ice is out, it's like either the season's beginning or you're in the middle of the season. Maybe
it was during the off season and it just fell on the concrete.
That's true too. I can't remember when it happened. Maybe Tom's a super fan out there for the Sabres. Maybe he remembers.
Yeah. We're just throwing all of our trivia to Tom. I'm sorry. We're the guys on the podcast, but we don't seem to know anything.
Well, I mean, we're just incorporating the chat. We're getting these guys involved. They've been quiet for the past couple of weeks. Mike's been on here. Tom, it's been a minute. That's all I'm gonna say, Tom.
Well, he's here now, and
we appreciate you, Tom.
He mentioned that Jacob Bryson should sign my bag, and honestly, I think that would make this the most priceless piece of Sabres memorabilia.
Would you frame it?
If I got Jacob Bryson's signature on this bag, yeah, I'd frame it. I would absolutely. It's like it's already kind of old and wrinkly, but that's fine. It works perfectly.
I would love to see the face of you just walking up to him. Hey, can you sign my bag?
Hey, can you sign like right across the forehead here?
So you have eyebrows, like you have Jacob over one eye and Bryson over the other eye.
That'd be incredible. That's all I could ask for. Honestly, I have a new Christmas wish, but
then maybe you have UPL sign where the nose is, so then you have a nose too, just as initials UPL. We can make that into a nose.
Imagine answering the question of why you have the bag. Yeah, I'm sure I could smoothly do that.
You just say, this is why you're winning. That's it.
Just be like, you should be thankful. Yeah. You should be thankful that I'm wearing this, Jacob. But no, obviously we all know Jacob is the reason we're winning, because he's like 7 or 8-2 right now. Even though he did lose some games, we're still like 8-2 with him. So you can't complain about the results. Jacob Bryson is our Messiah, and he's going to take us to the promised land.
He's been a good 7D, so I'm not going to complain. Sign the bag to
an extension.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that done right now. Trust me. Behind the scenes, Mike's working a deal. I'm talking to Mike. I'm like, we got to sign this guy. Not a bridge contract. I see a 7-year deal coming out of this bag.
Yeah.
What if we win the cup? Bag stays on for life.
If we win the cup, I get the bag tattooed on my arse.
That would be interesting to explain to your kids later in life. Why do you have a bag with a crappy face tattooed on your ass?
I'm sure they'd appreciate it. I feel like any kids of mine would, by the time they're old enough to see the tattoo, would already understand my sense of humor. So, like, they'd get it. It'd be fine.
Oh man. Anyways. Trade deadline coming up.
Trade deadline coming up. I know you were talking before the show about potential or what the WGR guys were talking about. Do you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, so I was listening to the show yesterday with our guys, Nate Geary, actually friend of the program, was on Nickel City Mafia, is Jake Podger's cousin. And then our other boy, Joe DiBiase, Hot Takes DiBiase, I like to call him. We're talking about right now, this is a 3-game winning streak. We're talking, do we make a playoff? We make a trade for a playoff push right now. Do we package Matt Savoy, Middlestat, and a first-round pick for a guy like Jake Gensel? And I was floored. I was honestly floored. Just because, one, this has been a positive vibe show all night, but there is no way in hell this team is making the playoffs. I'm sorry. Like we mentioned, the schedule coming up is tough.
It's the hardest in the league. Like,
yeah,
5 points percentage, we have the hardest remaining schedule.
Yeah. And if they do make the playoffs, I'm willing to lay something on the line right here.
Okay.
I don't know what yet. I've already have to eat waffles at the Waffle House.
I think if they make the playoffs, we both are wearing bags for the playoff streams.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'd wear a bag.
You know what? If we make it, it's worth it anyway. So
yeah. But they said, okay, for Jake Gensel, but he's a UFA at the end of the season. And they said, well, you would have to at least have the agent and player say, yeah, we would entertain the idea of signing a contract with the Sabres. And I was still shocked because, one, would Jake Gensel really bring this team over the top to make the playoffs? Two, you really think this team is going to make the playoffs? And three, is another winger a thing the Sabres need? Sam, what are your thoughts?
So it never felt like offense was. I mean, I guess this year it feels like it is, but it doesn't feel like we don't have the pieces. Like those guys, it just feels like they're always kind of one step off, and we know that they can do it. I'm not sure that injecting Jake Gensel into the current system we have will make us better. It might just make Jake Gensel worse. One thing that we have consistently had issues with is some of our defensemen. Like, I feel like if we're going for something for a short term or like potentially trading for them to sign them long term, like I'd want someone to be like Eric Johnson's replacement, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd want someone who would be like which winger are you putting out of the lineup?
That's the thing. I don't know.
Is it, I mean, we can go down the line, you know? Is it Skinner? Is it Tuck? Is it Cousins is currently a winger? Is it Jordan Greenway? Is it Peterka? Is it Benson? Because Jake Gensel's not your fourth liner.
No.
So I don't know. I think that I kind of going forward want some of those people on the team. Obviously, I've expressed my feelings about Skinner's play, but going forward, I think I want some of those players on my team. And I'm not sure I am willing to trade them out right now.
And who's going to take a Skinner contract anyways?
Exactly.
That's the tough part. So, like you said, I don't think offense is a solution. I'd rather see that on defense. And I'd rather see that with a defenseman who's kind of already signed up for a deal right now, just because you want to get a guy who's already on a contract so you don't have to overpay for maybe like a decent defenseman, you know?
Right.
Because you go to the free agency or you get a guy, you trade for a guy who's going to be UFA, you're the Sabres. You're going to have to pay a little bit more. And especially if it's a defenseman, I mean, how much more money are you going to invest in defense? Because right now you basically have $20 million locked up between Dahlin and Power for the future. So you're going to be, let's just say, you sign a guy, like I talked a couple of weeks ago, and after the Whistle guys talked about, maybe make a trade for Mackenzie Weegar. He's on like a $5 million deal right now. It's like, okay, that guy's a top pair D. Reve loves Buffalo. That's his cousin. I mean, if they could actually swing something like that, and he has a contract for, I think he has 3 more years left in his deal, perfect. I'm fine with that.
Right.
Because you get a defensive defenseman, you get another guy who kind of who's actually like a step up better than Samuelson, and he's in his 30s too, so you kind of have like a little bit of veteran leadership, but not like a veteran leadership where I don't know what was I talking about Lawton last week or a couple of weeks ago from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like not like a bum 30-year-old, like you're actually gonna have a decent 30-year-old playing. So I'd be down for that. I mean, I don't know, like I'm hit or miss with the Middlestat thing because I would like to see Middlestat stay on this team.
Again,
but Savoy in a first, I'm fine with getting rid of.
I've said it before. If we are trading Casey Middlestat, like the player that I would want in return is someone like Casey Middlestat, because that's kind of offensively, he's our most versatile guy. So it doesn't make sense for me. Trading Middlestat doesn't really ever make sense for me because it's just like that's kind of the type of player you'd want in return.
I just gotta say to Mike, are you willing to wear a bag too on the Buffalo Bills streams then if the Sabres make the playoffs? That's all I'm gonna say. Do you have as much faith in the Buffalo Sabres as you do as the Buffalo Bills?
Me?
All I'm gonna ask. No, that's for Mike. I mean, you gotta think. There's a difference between the Bills and the Sabres. Bills have a superstar in Josh Allen. Sabres are trying to figure out who their star is. I mean, you got Darlene, but
it is definitely harder for an all-star defenseman to take over a game than it is for a quarterback to do it.
Yeah.
Especially one of Josh Allen's caliber. You know, it's like Darlene can only do so much. He's playing 30 minutes a night right now, so he is doing a lot, but...
And you got UPL who's playing well, too. I think the Sabres, I mean, at this rate, they would have to... I think they can only lose, like... I think they have to win 18 games out, right? They have 20... I forgot how many games left they have, but they have to win, like... I think around 18 games to make the playoffs.
Yeah, so including this current one, we have 24 games. So 18, it's a lot, and we're behind in one of them right now. So
yeah, I mean,
but hey, we're afforded 4 losses.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm negging the Sabres right now. I'm negging them. Let them know, hey, I don't believe in you. Prove me wrong. We had a couple guys prove me wrong, like our goaltender UPL's proved me wrong this season, and I'm ready to eat crow. I've already kind of eaten my crow, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we've praised UPL enough these past few weeks that, you know, we've absolved ourselves of our sin. But
yeah, and you know, like I said, I'm negging them. I'm just gonna keep on negging them. Maybe it works. Maybe the negging of the Buffalo Sabres. Actually, I've been doing this all year with the Sabres. It hasn't worked out well, but maybe this time around, the bag and negging them is gonna get them to start winning.
Yeah, they're gonna see the bag and they're like, this is the kind of commitment we're getting from the fans. There's no way we can't not perform to our best ability.
How'd you pick out where to put the holes? I have to ask. What was the process of making the face in the bag?
I put the bag on the head, right? And actually, I did this without the headphones, so it was a little like it's actually a little bit off. Because I got headphones on, make it a little like a little taller. My head's a little taller, and I put it on my face and just went like this. Got the center of my mouth and my 2 eyes. Yeah, it's crazy. And I kind of just like pinched a little bit, and it like made a little indent on the spots. It's truly a science.
It really is. I mean, you should be going for engineering.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was an engineer when I started college. I'm no longer an engineer.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It's a tough program.
It is, yeah.
I couldn't do it. Math was never really my strong suit. So
yeah, in like high school, they kind of plop people into categories, or at least in the high school I went to, and one of them was engineering, and they just kind of put me in engineering at a young age, and they're like, you're gonna be an engineer, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be an engineer. I got to college, I was like, oh, this is so not what I want to do.
Do you have to take physics still? It's a lot of physics, right?
Yeah, I had to take physics 1 and physics 2. And physics 2 is basically just physics 1, but on a quantum level. And let me just say, it's not fun.
Yeah, I took physics 2. I absolutely hated it. I mean, that little scratch sheet that you get for for every test too, that was written down to the smallest thing possible that I could read to get all the equations that I could use. Because my God, Physics 102 was miserable.
Yeah, I think that the class average my year was like 40.
It was a lot of theoretical stuff. I didn't like it.
Yeah. Anyway,
right, we're good with physics talk.
I was trying to think of a good segue between physics and the Rochester Americans. I couldn't think about it, so I'm just explaining that. But the Rochester Americans, basically, going down the road. We have some.
If you take a bus due east at 65 miles an hour, how long will it take you to get to Rochester?
That's a great question. I think around what is it, 2.5, 3 hours?
Rochester?
Yeah.
It's like an hour, isn't it?
Really? No, surely not.
Hour and a half, yeah.
All right. I'll believe you. Anyway.
It's like the longest hour and a half.
So obviously it's hard to watch any AHL games, as we've discussed. That subscription is pretty expensive, AHL TV. But I've been with Tyson Yost being called up because we all thought Jeff Skinner was injured and was gonna be out this game. But Tyson Yost called up. I decided to look down, kind of see what was going on in Rochester, and to be honest, the things there aren't too encouraging. You have Yuri Kulik has been injured for a while now. He's currently day-to-day. I think he's missed the last 5 games. He's still their goal leader, though.
Yeah.
Isaac Rosien has slowed down, but he did score in the last game. The only thing going very well in Rochester is Devin Levi. So
surprise.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it last week, but he has a 957 in 12 starts, and he's 6-3-3. Even though that team hasn't been very good recently, Devin Levi is taking his opportunity to be the starter, and he's running with it, and he is shining in that position. I don't think obviously we had a lot of questions as the season rolled on, and Devin Levi was struggling. I don't think going forward that this is a position or a player that we're going to have to worry about. I think he'll figure it out, and given more time and just the ability to adjust to an NHL and professional schedule, I think he's going to be really good. And I think he's going to be really good soon. It might not even be next year, but I think he'll be really good sooner than most goalies are. So,
yeah. Do you think they give him another year in the AHL next year?
Do they give him another year? I feel like it's far too early to say anything about that. We came into this year, and I was saying at the start of this year, don't be surprised if he's in the AHL. Yeah. And what I got in return was a lot of, are you dumb? Are you serious? This guy is our starting goalie coming into this year. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. But he's played 7 NHL games, or 9, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then he ends up in the AHL. I don't feel like penciling him in for the NHL right now.
No, I meant for the AHL next year.
Yeah. I don't feel like penciling him for either of the spots right now. Really makes sense because he is playing very well in the AHL, and if he sustains that, I don't see why we would keep him down there. But for the time being, I would say just kind of let both our goaltenders cook, because you got UPL playing at an elite NHL level right now, and you got Devin Levi in the AHL playing at an elite AHL level. So just give him some more time and bring him up. I would say bring him up halfway through the year is probably where I'm at. Or if you really don't have a goalie to start the year, I would start him as a backup, as a true you have to understand you are the backup.
Yeah, which I think it would be kind of tough just because you see with consistent gameplay how much of a better goaltender he is.
Yeah. We just got a, by the way, we're now on a 5-on-3 or a 3-on-5. We're down 2 men. So expect an exasperated sigh soon.
So we're down. So we're down 3, or yeah, we have 3 guys on the ice right now.
Yeah, we've got 3. It's a 5-on-3 for Florida. Benson keeps taking penalties, as Tom states. The first penalty that Benson took was absolute horse crap. The guy threw Benson to the ice. Benson being the small guy that he is. 3-1.
Yeah. Well, Sam, the bag might come off.
The bag might come off. Anyway,
so all
Benson gets thrown to the ice earlier in the period, just like picked up and tossed into the end boards. 2 for each. Of course, Benson was holding, which absolute most like ludicrous thing I've ever heard. Yeah. It's the reffing has been interesting this game. There's been a few where it's just like, really? But whatever. Now the Sabres are down 3-1 as a result of 2 untimely penalties.
Tom says double bag.
They still have to kill the rest of the 1 minute remaining on the other penalty. So,
do you double bag it up?
No, I don't. Once the streak's over, there's no more bags. Once the streak's over,
maybe a second bag helps it out.
You know, I appreciate your way of thinking, but I actually don't. So
it's not. Tom brought it up. Tom said double bag.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I mean, sometimes you have to double bag the groceries because they hold a little bit better. So maybe to hold on to this win streak, we need a double bag.
Okay, but alternatively, 716 move says free Sam from the bag. That's definitely not my dad trying to help me out.
JRS Morgan, is that the second right there? Yeah, definitely not related to Sam.
Yeah, definitely not my parents trying to help me out here. Definitely not getting an assist from the crowd there. But Tom, we're gonna forget that you ever said the thing about 2 bags because it's already scratchy enough in here. My nose, I got off the last podcast and I was itching my nose for probably like 30 minutes straight. But yeah, I don't think
I put some aloe vera on there then.
Oh wow, we almost scored on the.
Oh, see, bring up the double bag. We might score.
No. One is enough.
Put it into existence, the double bag.
Well, yeah, I don't necessarily have anything else Sabres related to talk about this week.
Yeah. I mean, like you mentioned with the AHL, it's kind of the funny thing is, Kulik's kind of went cold before his injury too. I don't think he had a goal since he came back for the World Juniors, which is crazy that he's leading the team in goals still. And Rosine's kind of fall off too. But you can have Oslin. He's still killing it right now over in Sweden. He's still playing pretty well. And then I looked at Savoy, and Savoy has 21 goals in the 24 games that he's played with his new team. So
yeah,
I mean,
a change of scenery seemed to have helped him out a bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I'm interested to see what their plans are for him next season too. I guess he's going to have to come up and play in the AHL. I don't think they're ever going to give him the NHL option at all. Because I think the season expectation for him was to actually get more points than last year. And last year he had like 110 points. I don't think he's anywhere near matching that right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I did not really follow his junior career too well. All I know is that Chris Baker seems to think he's doing pretty well right now. And generally, when it comes to Sabres prospects, there's no one I trust more than Chris Baker. So I'm willing to believe that Savoy's doing pretty well for himself right now. But again, I don't know if that'll ever translate to NHL success, even just with the way he plays. So
yeah, that's true.
That's something we will get to wait and see.
Tom says I can bag it too. I mean, if the Sabres win tonight, I'll wear a bag next week.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll be both wearing bags. That's the double bag right there.
I mean, I'm again, once the streak ends, the bag comes off. But if the streak is still going next week, I expect to see you in a bag. If we make the playoffs, I also expect to see us both in bags. So
okay, yeah, that's a deal. We got a bag deal right now. We're in a bag skate for a bag deal.
Rightio, now the bag's all sorted. Okay, so like a change from the last few weeks is now we've won all 3 games this week. I mean, 3.5 because there's one going on right now. I'm not sure if that counts for this week, next week. Who knows? So we won all 3 games this week. Do you have 3 stars for us?
I do. I do have 3 stars for us. I think my first star is pretty clear and obvious. He's going to probably be one of your stars, and it's going to be UPL.
Right.
I'm just going to keep on handing out a star to UPL every week that we give stars. There's been weeks where we haven't given stars.
You know what? He's been a Vezina caliber goaltender for 2024. Yes. As long as we keep playing and he keeps playing well, UPL, you are a star in my book.
Yeah. So, I mean, just write that in pen, permanent marker. He's a star for the rest of the season for me. My second star is actually going to go to Peyton Krebs. Okay. Just because, like we even mentioned too, when he was kind of sat back in December and then came back to the ice. I mean, he came back with energy, but he's playing on a 4th line. Now he's actually on a 3rd line with some skilled guys. At least you're playing with like the leading goal scorer in Peterka. And you look good out there, and you've energized that line even more, especially with Quinn out. So he's going to get my second star. My third star, this one's kind of a little bit tougher just because, I mean, there really hasn't been anyone standing out too much to me right now for that. But I'm going to look at this and...
Oh! 3-2! Sorry, I didn't mean to shout.
No, you're good.
3-2. Let's
pulled
go.
away from the microphone.
Tage Thompson. We're back in it. The bag might remain.
The bag is still alive. The bag is still alive. We might be doing 2 bags.
Yeah, how good's your pumpkin carving or bag carving?
It probably won't be better than yours, Sam. I mean, yours is one of the kind. So, and I like to wear a hat too. So
you can put the hat on top. Hold on. Where did my hat go?
Just don't rip the bag.
Yeah. Anyway, you have a 3rd star for us?
Yeah. My 3rd star, I'm going to give it to. Who did I give it to? Do I give it to somebody that I've been bagging on for the whole entire season and coming back from injury and kind of getting some points? I'm going to give it to Owen Power.
Okay.
I mean, nothing too incredible, but he's been out for a while. Comes back from injury, scores a goal, has an assist too. I'm going to give it to him. I've been hard on him all season. He gets a star. That's all I'm going to say for that.
All right.
What are your 3 stars?
I appreciate it. There's a few people that you could give it to, I think, this week. There's a good collection. Obviously, things have been going well, so that makes sense. First of all, UPL, number 1 in our hearts, number 1 on the ice. He gets a star for me.
Just watching that happen.
Sorry if that was loud. I couldn't see that because I was looking at my other screen because, it's coming down to the wire.
I saw it sliding down. I was waiting for it to happen.
You could have said something, Timmy.
No, this is content. We only make content here, Sam.
God, you let me look like a fool on camera just for your content.
Yeah. No, definitely. I made you look like a fool. Not that bag at all.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give my 2nd star to Darlene. He's been playing roughly 30 minutes a night, and our defense has been good. So he's obviously a major part of that. He looks good in those 30 minutes. I don't really have any complaints about the way he's been playing, and he can do it for half a game. So good on him. And then for my 3rd star, because they've kind of been a target of the media of the team. the fans during the Carolina game, they brought so much energy. You could hear it over the TV. They backed the boys, and in return, the boys gave them a salute.
I know. Salute is back.
So
what a stupid thing.
The fans, even though they weren't many, they were loud and like they were providing the emotional support that I think the team needed in that moment, because we ended up getting the win. And I'd like to imagine that they were the fans were part of that.
Who started the salute?
Who started the salute?
Yeah.
On during that game, at the end of that game?
Was it under Kruger? When did the salute start happening?
I don't know.
So I remember, so the first team to actually do it, I think, is the Hurricanes, right? Because they did this crazy celebration.
Yeah, they got the storm surge.
Yeah.
Which I actually like. I think that's like a fun way to celebrate.
Yeah. But then the salute.
Controversial.
When did the salute start? I mean, it had to be under Kruger, right?
I have no idea. Ultimately, all sports are part of the entertainment industry, right? Yeah. It matters a lot, the fans' perception of the team. It makes sense that people would do kind of at least minor interactive things with their fans, like saluting at the end of a win.
Yeah.
So I don't know who started it, but I don't know if it weren't around for a really long time, because it's been
it's so
like,
new.
as much as I think about it, it feels like it's been around for a second, but
because they were talking about it on After the Whistle, they never saluted back in like the Sabres making the playoff day, so that's like 2013.
Really? Did they like what sort of acknowledgments did they have of the fans back then? If it was nothing, I mean,
win, baby, win. That's all the acknowledgement that the fans got. They got wins.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Listen, I would take wins now. I would appreciate that.
Because does a team like, let's just say the Boston Bruins, when they win, do they salute their fans?
I don't know. I know that Swayman hugs Ullmark, and that's cute. That's a good little bit of camaraderie.
Yeah.
But
I don't think. Did you ever see the All-Star video of Ullmark trying to give guys hugs in the locker room? And I think it was Nashville's goaltender,
Saros.
Yeah, he just walked by him.
He
didn't give him a hug.
That's so brutal.
But every other goaltender did, like Hellebuck and all these other guys. So
yeah,
that's a funny video. But I think does a good team salute, or the good teams like, we got the win, we go in, and like bad.
Well,
teams,
I mean,
your bad team salute.
Carolina does.
Yeah, Carolina
goes the extra step, and I think it's fun. Like, again, at the end of the day, they are entertainers. If they're doing poorly, the least they could do is a little bit of fan service. But
I think what the Sabres should do is, after a Sabres win, all the players, whatever, they salute, whatever, get off the ice, and then you bring a buffalo on the ice. Let it run.
Oh, yeah, just watch it stumble all over itself, because I'm not sure how good buffalo are at running on ice, but I can't imagine it's great.
I mean, you can put something on their feet so they don't slip.
Are hooved animals good on ice? I don't think that they are.
No, because you see, like, the deer trapped on ice in the middle of the lake, so, and they look like they're benders with hockey skates. So
I'm pretty sure that would be animal cruelty in that case.
All right, you release the bison into the stands.
Oh,
and then you let it chase the
fans. It's just an extra incentive for them to leave.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, well. There goes Timmy. I'm not sure whether or not he's going to be back. So for the time being, I'm just going to kind of comment on the Panthers game that we've gotten so far. Basically, in the first period, we got scored on twice. We scored one goal. It was a goal from Dylan Cousins. It was the first goal of the period. The bag solo career. I'm trying my very best. Sorry, I got thrown off by the comment. So the Sabres actually score to go up first, but they quickly lose the lead. In the second period, it was almost all UPL. He was making tons of saves, as it was stated earlier. They got outshot like 17-8 or something. And then catching you up to now, we got scored on during a 5-on-3 during the third period. Killed off the rest of that penalty. Timmy's back. And now we've scored a goal from Tage Thompson to bring us back to 3-2. And we're currently 3 minutes left in the game, looking to make it even. And that catches us up till now. And honestly, we went over all of our segments up till this point. So it might just be a little bit of waiting out the remainder of the game and talking about it a little bit, talking over it maybe. I know you're not actually watching it because you're like 9 minutes behind on your phone. But
yeah,
welcome back, Timmy. Everything all right?
My Chrome just crashed out of nowhere. maybe I was talking too much controversy right there with bringing up Bison or Buffalo into the stands. So
yeah,
I don't think Google liked that.
Google saw that and was like, this guy is supporting animal abuse. That's kind of not cool.
Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me, Sam. That's not animal abuse. I was just coming up with ideas.
Mike, can you make a short out of Timmy recommending animal abuse for the team?
Okay, we gotta stop throwing that around right now. The AA word is just, we're staying away from that. No animal abuse. Yeah.
Luukkonen is currently kind of standing out by the top of the crease. He's waiting for his call to the bench, although Florida just cleared it out, so I don't think Luukkonen's gonna get called over that soon.
We're living on 1% right now. I think this is the lowest I ever let my phone battery get.
Oh no.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'll keep you posted. Luukkonen made it most of the way out of his net before stopping again. It got dumped down to the other end, and it's picked up by Yoki Haru. Dahlin has it. He's the guy that you'd want to have it. I like that they use the drop back on like it's not even a 6-on-5 yet. So
I love that. The drop back still around.
1 minute left, and we got called on offside. So we're kind of just UPL's waiting. He wants to know if he needs to get
him
called
off the ice. Just get him off the ice.
Yeah, but what if he loses the draw? What if he loses the draw? Right, we don't do well on face-offs. This is one of the times where it makes sense to like have a face-off guy.
A Paul Gosted.
Yeah. So it looks like we are taking him off the ice and we're calling our timeout. So we've got 30 seconds to kill.
Who's your guy to take the draw?
Who's your favorite all-time Sabre?
Oh, wow. All right.
I don't know if we have actually already talked about this. We may have talked about it during the first stream.
I think it was the first show, and I said,
first show ever.
Dominic Hasek.
Right, yeah, because we talked about the goalies. Because I then went on to say that I grew up with Ryan Miller, and I was always playing like goalie in street hockey. Played goalie on the ice, so he was my inspiration. I don't play goalie anymore. It's a lot of effort to get in and out of those pads.
Yeah, it's kind of boring. I mean, when you're just standing there watching them play on the other end of the ice, you're just like, all right, when they come back down here.
It takes a crazy person to play goalie, and let me just say, it's not boring at all.
I played like 2 games. I was like, Dad, we're good here.
Oh, they didn't take UPL off the ice yet. He was chilling on the bench for the timeout, but he's back. He's kind of near like the circles, waiting on the face-off. We lost the face-off. It's a good thing Upel is still in the net.
Who took the draw?
I want to say Cousins.
Oh. Who's the guy that you would want to take the draw?
None of them. Maybe Krebs.
I was thinking Middlestat.
Middlestat is possible. I don't think that Cousins is actually out, so it had to have been Middlestat who took the draw.
Oh, that's even worse.
Cousins, I think, is the man over the bench when UPL gets out, if he ever does. 30 seconds left. Thompson taking it up. He gets it off to Alex Tuck on the side. UPL gets stun locked again. He tried to go out, and Alex Tuck takes it back into the zone. Dahlin, he's got it. UPL's running past Dahlin. So UPL is officially on the bench, dumped into the zone. They clear. Nope. It's still kept in. Alex Tuck puts it on net. It bounces off the pad. 5 seconds. They need a shot. And it kind of just gets muddled in the center and on the wall. The game is over. 3-2 loss to the Florida Panthers.
All right. Release the bag. I forgot what you looked like, Sam.
Yeah, you can see it's like it's been a little sweaty in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend probably the majority of the next 30 minutes scratching my nose like this because hey guys, I'm free. But yeah, so that concludes the week. The Florida Panthers have ended the Sabres' first winning streak of the year. Unfortunately.
Sad.
I don't really think there's anything else to go over unless you've got any topics.
Nope. Just go over the next couple games and then we can sign off.
In that case, upcoming, the Sabres have the hardest schedule. So that includes a game against the Lightning on Thursday, and that's away as well. So they're taking their little trip through Florida. A game against the Golden Knights, and that's at home at 7 on Saturday. And then they have a game against the Jets on Sunday. So they got that back-to-back. It'll be interesting to see whether or not it's Comrie or Levi who plays in the back-to-back. Either way, that's 3 games we got upcoming, all against, I believe, teams in the
wild card or
currently in the playoffs. Yeah. So again, hardest remaining schedule, but we'll see what we can make of it. If we could get another 3 games, three wins, that would be give me a little bit of hope. But we currently used one of our 4 possible losses, and it's not looking great right now.
Yeah. I mean, look competitive, I guess, for these next couple of games. I'm really not expecting the best out of the team right now for those games. Maybe no. I would have said it Lightning at the beginning of the year when he didn't have Vasilevsky and that they're a beatable team. You got the leading point scorer in Kucherov. He's already has 100 points this season, so that's going to be a tough game to go against. Vegas is going to come back in Buffalo. Jack Eichel's back. He likes to get his little revenge games here, especially when they lost earlier to the Sabres. So that's going to be another tough one. And then Winnipeg Jets. I mean, they're a good team this year. They're a playoff team. You got the best.
They're near the top of their division as well. And actually, they have games in hand. So,
I mean, yeah. And Hellebuck's playing good. And what's it? Ehlers? However you say his name.
Yeah, Ehlers.
I mean, he's having a phenomenal season too. So, really, Sabres got the 3-game win streak. Be competitive. If you get 2 points out of this win streak, I'll be fine. Just go down competitive when you lose. Don't flatline. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I expect from the team now this week.
Yeah, for me, mostly the same. Inching towards the off season and the trade deadline. Just keep playing with spirit. This game, you played well. You didn't get a result that you wanted. You had to rely on your goalie a bit, but your goalie played well. Just keep breathing life into the team, and the fans will respond in kind, like they did with Carolina. Just go out there, play some good hockey for the remainder. Have something to look forward to going into the next year, because currently, unless things really take a sudden change, the season's mostly over.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Yeah. Well, that has been us. I get to liberate myself from the bag. You will not see it next week.
Not sad.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Sabres Edge podcast.
Tell the bag on
put on by the Nickel City Mafia channel. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want more contact with us, we have a Discord. It's going to be in the description. And
they're still doing that embroidery thing too.
I do not believe so. I believe that ended. But perhaps we're going to get something from Mike here in a second, who would tell us. But I do believe that has ended.
Okay.
Big Stitching Embroidery, 3/.
Well,
oh, you know what? It's going to be announced on the St. Patrick's Day show. So yeah, check out Big Stitching Embroidery.
It's on our Discord.
There should be links in the Discord. It might even be in the description later. Thank you all for coming out. Sorry that it was a loss that you had to see, but we will see you.
Sam's space now.
Yeah, that's the loss. We will see you next week.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week.